there is no escape, nor do we want it. We've come to thrive on it and each other. You can't get the adrenaline pumping without the terror, good people.
You know, here's the truth about me, and I'm gonna humble myself. I've been doing the YouTube thing for a while. I've seen a lot of movies, as have you, who's probably watching this. I'm far from an expert on slasher films. I'm far from an expert on whodunit movies. I'm far from an expert on Italian horror. I'm far from an expert on 90s horror. I'm far from an expert on 80s horror. I'm not an expert on anything. I'm really not. I'm just a big fan of a lot of stuff. But one thing I do think I have a little bit of footing on is found footage, and it's a subgenre that I'm a big fan of because I think it has so much to offer. But I think the problem with the subgenre is the lows are incredibly low, and just a few bad experiences with found footage can really turn people off, I think. But what people need to know that haven't really dove into found footage that much is there are movies that will not only be absolutely impressive to you for the subgenre, but period. And I can't think of a better example than Ty West's The Sacrament. This is a movie that, from first watch, I knew that this was different. I knew that this was special. I knew that this was an amazing film that happened to be found footage. Emphasis on amazing film first. Because found footage is an avenue that is so punk rock to me. It's rebel filmmaking. It's anti-establishment filmmaking that can gut punch big studios. You look back in history at movies like Blair Witch was a independent thing, made millions and millions and millions. Paranormal Activity was done by a guy named Oren Peli for a couple grand. I think he funded it himself. Had a couple people do the movie. Got picked up by Paramount and made millions. Still running till this day. I think they're making another one. But you look at a movie like The Sacrament. Now, here's a movie that, by all intents and purposes, blow movies like that out of the water. Maybe not the Blair Witch. I love the Blair Witch. But at the same time, this movie's just a totally different animal. The Sacrament tells basically the story of the Jonestown Massacre. There was a cult leader in the late 70s who, when he was found out, more or less, and the government was coming down on him, made all of his followers kill themselves by drinking poison. It was a shocking tale. It was a shocking case. And Ty West made this movie called The Sacrament that basically told this story, up close and personal. So the story is about these two guys, and we start out with there are these documentarians, and one of them's sister gives them a call and says, hey, this is where I'm at. She's a recovering drug addict, and she's in this utopian drug-free village that is basically in parts unknown, and you can only get there by flying. He gets the invite to come down there and film, and he sees his sister, and she seems so happy, and everything's fine, and she's clean and pure. But as we progress and these documentarians are here, and they're filming, they notice, I don't think that these people have freedom. Something seems odd. They seem like they're cast under some kind of spell. And then you meet the leader of this commune, who simply goes by Father. What a performance that this gentleman gives. I'll bring up a picture of him right now. Holy smokes. This guy captivates as the commune leader. This guy captivates as the cult leader. This guy performs. You know, Ty West is a guy that, by all intents and purposes, by this day and age, can be called a horror master, in my opinion. You look at some of the stuff he's done, you look at future projects he's working on with A24, that right there tells you he is trusted to make great cinema. Because I think A24 really gives leeway to their filmmakers to let them create, which is something we so desperately need. And a Ty West film, you kind of know it when you see it. When you watch a Ty West film, you're watching something that is going to have insanely well-developed story and characters. Everything will be fitting puzzle pieces throughout. Everything will be captivating, and he will make you be engulfed in the story. And you look at movies like House of the Devil and Innkeepers, which I just watched, which I plan on reviewing. It's textbook character study and character development. But a movie like The Sacrament does it so well, I really put it at the top of the list of some of the work he's done. And when I say that the gentleman who plays the father of this, the Jones, the guy, if you will, breathtaking, jaw-dropping. His timing is impeccable. It's like he studied cult leaders. As the movie progresses, it turns into a boiling pot, and it's getting hotter and hotter because the movie gets more and more tense. The more our documentarians, i.e. the brother and his friend, start to wonder what's going on and question it, the nooses get a little tighter around their freedom in this commune. And the story builds and builds like a pressure cooker. The Sacrament is so well done, I think at a certain point you almost forget you're watching found footage. It's really a remarkable film in so many ways, and I really can't put into words how well this film is. The reason I'm reviewing this film right now today is because it needs to be seen by more people to be believed. It really is that good. Now, obviously, this is kind of a spoiler review, but it's really because it's based on a true story. And the ending is just so gut-wrenchingly sad and heartbreaking, because we know what happens, that the film will emotionally drain you by the end of it. And it's a film that will stick with you, and it'll stay in your head. It's in my head right now. This is a remarkable film. Ty West is a master filmmaker. And it's hard to even express how much I want you to see this film if you haven't. I believe it's from 2013. It's available on Blu-ray, which I went to go order this morning because I wanted to review the Blu-ray with it, but I figured it was out of stock at the moment, so they'll get more soon, and I'll pick it up. That way I can watch it, but stream this movie for a couple bucks. Because in my world, in my life, I have this expression I kind of use. Life-changing movies, which isn't really an expression I come up with, but like, man, I had, for instance, Return of the Living Dead. I had my life before this movie existed, and then when I saw this movie, my life was, I had life after. I now had this movie as a part of my bloodstream, so to speak. The Sacrament is one of those films. The Sacrament could be argued to be one of the greatest found footage movies ever made. Especially in its approach in that documentary style. I can't think of anything that even comes close to what Ty West did. So, obviously, I give this movie a massive stamp of an approval, a glowing stamp of approval, and I really want you guys to see this. If you've seen The Sacrament, please echo down below to people that haven't about how great this film is. If you haven't, I really, really want you to see it. It would mean a lot to me for you to see this movie because it's that good. And the reason, and the fact that it's not treated more magnanimously is painful to me. But I just think it's because it's in that found footage pantheon, and that genre doesn't get as much love as others. Because I do think that the lows are pretty low with found footage, and that will turn people off. So, your homework, if you haven't seen this movie, is to watch The Sacrament from 2013, directed by Ty West. This is Christian Hanna Horror. We'll see you guys very, very soon.